Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the September 18th, 2023 Board of Education meeting. Welcome back to the 2023-2024 school year. I hope everyone had a great summer. But we're back. Feels like we never left because some of us didn't. But seriously, I hope everybody had a great summer. And the first item on the agenda this evening is the call to order. The second item is the Pledge of Allegiance. If we'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, tonight we'd like to recognize both the 2023 Teacher of the Year and then the 2023 Staff Member of the Year. These members of the Farmington Public Schools are recognized every year at convocation. They're both very special members in the Farmington Public Schools. I know that a lot of people know both of these members of the Farmington Public Schools. They've been around our hallways, in the classrooms, in and out of many of our own children's lives for a long time. So in recognition of the Teacher of the Year, the 2023-2024 Teacher of the Year, I'm going to turn it over to the Superintendent, Kathy Greeter, to do the honors of introducing who the Teacher of the Year is, for those of you who don't know, and she'll take it from here.
Great. Thank you so much. This is a really special meeting for all of us because we're recognizing our Teacher of the Year and Staff Member of the Year. So we're going to start with our Teacher of the Year. So I'd like Nancy Nelson to come up to the table. Nancy will represent us in the state Teacher of the Year process. I want to extend my sincerest congratulations to Nancy Nelson, a Noah Wallace kindergarten teacher, our 2023-2024 Teacher of the Year. Nancy is a highly dedicated educator who personalizes instruction for each learner. She really is focused on the developmental strengths and needs of our kindergarten students through play-based and project-based learning. And that type of learning is celebrated in Nancy's classroom. Children explore their interests and their curiosities within an environment of excellence, belonging, and deep care for one another. Students have become stewards of the land, expanding and enriching learning. These learning experiences exemplify our vision of the global citizen at the kindergarten level by igniting joy and deepening learning for every child. Her students have a great deal of choice and voice within learning experiences through a play-based learning model for students that include all kindergarten grade level learning targets, executive functioning skills, as well as Farmington's vision of the global citizen skills and dispositions. Early childhood education provides a strong foundation for every learner here in Farmington. Nancy understands the importance of providing developmentally appropriate learning experiences that are student-led and elevate voice and curiosity for our youngest learners here in Farmington. So I could not be more thrilled to place a spotlight on an exemplary Farmington educator. Please join me in congratulating Nancy Nelson.
I just want to say thank you to the board and all members of Farmington Public Schools for this honor. I really am very humbled by the whole thing. It's been it's been wonderful to have the support of all of my colleagues and to really know that people do recognize the work that I do, but I definitely couldn't be doing it without all of them. So it's just something that has been really important to me to be a part of the Farmington community, and Noah Wallace has more than been my home for many, many years in my entire career at Noah Wallace. This is year 37, so it's been a long run, and it's been wonderful. And then the other piece is the community, the children, the parents, the families that I've worked with. It's just been a wonderful thing to have all that support and to get to know so many different people in that role. And I have to say, one of the things of having this honor come this year that's been a real pleasure is hearing from former students and parents of former students and people who've reached out, and that's really been such a wonderful thing to have happen. So I'm really thrilled with that, and the kids this year are hearing from their parents, and there's a lot of excitement, and it just feels really positive. So it's been a thrill to be a part of all that. So thank you very much.
I do wonder, could you say a little bit about outdoor learning? Because I don't think we've had a presentation yet for the board, and I think it would be really interesting not only to the board but to the whole community to learn a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm. So I started my real interest in outdoor learning just in 2019. I went to a conference with Carrie Huber up in Vermont. We had a great day learning about outdoor teaching and all kinds of different things that could be happening, that are happening in many other places. And we thought, oh, we have to do this. We have to get this here. And we started working on ways we could do that even at Noah Wallace, where we do not have a lot of outside physical space in the same way that some other schools do. Sally Shaves and I went to a conference together, two different days, about outdoor learning in the winter. And this was right before the shutdown in 2020, actually. So we were thrilled to get the whole idea of it going, and then we had to figure out, now how do we do it with all of those changes that came at us. West District has had a great opportunity to make a lot of that happen because they have forest space. So they're using their space for forest kindergarten days and getting out with the children in all weather, in all kinds of situations, doing all the academics and things that we do inside, outside, as well as adding on the nature study and the side that really brings the stewardship and all of the work that we're trying to do to become contributing citizens and to really encourage our students to take that on early as kindergartners and carry that through to their families. I've been really fortunate to partner with the Farmington Land Trust, and they have been wonderful helping me find spaces that I can get the students from Noah Wallace out, things I didn't even know. I've been there all these years and never knew this little property existed right down the road from us. So it's been great that they've been helpful that way. They not only giving us the space, but volunteers from the Land Trust coming and working with us. Last year we had a phenomenal year of parent involvement as well, so that every family from my class came at some time through the year to go out to the bull lot. That's the parcel that we go out to. It's a beautiful 2-acre meadow if you ever get to wander by Carrington Lane, Colton Street there, and see all the wildflowers that are in bloom right now. But we were out all year, something we've been able to put into the program so that we have many different things happening for the kids that are not just get out and be in nature, but a lot of science learning, a lot of social studies learning, getting all the vision of the global citizen pieces in there, as well as being very hands-on and very active. And the kids are just phenomenal. They take on so much. They are teaching their families. They are getting the families out and involved in the community and bringing them into things like the Land Trust. And it's really just growing. So the next step that I want to see is that we're working towards all the kindergarten in town doing that as well now. So we've done some curriculum writing last year with Maya Maloney from West District. She and I did some kindergarten curriculum writing over the past year to get all of the schools involved in getting the kindergarten outdoors more. And then from there, hopefully the next step is taking it up the grades as well, so that this will continue. The children we're working with don't just finish after kindergarten with it, but will carry it on, and partnering with some of the upper grades and bringing them to the same spaces and encouraging them to look at their curriculum and see where are the places that they can put outdoor learning into all of the areas that are already the strong parts of our curriculum. So we're excited to help support that and make that happen for all the children of Farmington.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess it was very fortuitous that you went for the outdoor learning in 2019. Someone must have known something before.
Well, I do have to say that, we're outdoor educators, we're all famous for saying that there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. And, we teach that to the kids, and we're getting out in all the weather. However, last Wednesday, the day that I had to go to this legislative office building for the interview with the state, it was some of the worst weather we've had, and I was drenched just walking from the garage. So I did say, I think we need to revise that statement every now and then. There are times when there really is bad weather. But it is a part of the learning process with the students, too, to teach that. That's right.
Right. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations. And so what more is there to do with the process for the state Teacher of the Year?
So I was one of the semifinalists, so I've gone through that. There were 16 semifinalists for the state, and that's what the interviewing last Wednesday was. I am not going forward from there. I know at this point they did call and let me know that I am not a finalist, but I was in the group of 16 semifinalists. There are different events throughout the rest of the year where we will get together and represent the schools and the state, and have many opportunities, I think, to meet each other as well as talk with other people and be a voice for the state and share our thoughts on education, on teaching, and specifically in Connecticut, and different things that, issues that are out there right now that we're hoping to help move forward.
Yeah, well, that's very exciting. And being one of 16 semifinalists is very exciting and something you should be very proud of. We're very proud of you here
Thank
in Farmington, and that's nothing, to be shy about. That's exciting, and you should be very proud. We are. So, congratulations. Does anyone from the board have anything that they would like to say?
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
So it's always a special moment of pride when we have recognitions for students or teachers that come from your child's elementary school, and that's the case with me. And although I had 3 boys go through Noah Wallace, none of them had the opportunity to be in your classroom, but we were always hearing about all of the unique teaching that you did, and I think you may have gone for formal training for outdoor classroom in 2019, but I think you were always bringing an element of that to your teaching for as long as I've known you. So I just appreciate the learning that you give the children, animals and wildlife, and the importance of the environment. I think that's really going to be quite a legacy, and it's just a real gem that we have here in town and in our school district. So thank you for all that work.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations.
It's wonderful because that is what a lot of the students come back and talk about. They remember those things. They really have that as memory that stays with them for a long time. So that, and I have to say, this summer I got to see one of my students from my very first class, who's now 42, and he's just back in the States. I don't know if any of you know Doug Williams. He is now a professional opera singer and doing quite well in his life, and it was wonderful to see him. And we had a great conversation about music, and he remembered the play that we did in 2nd grade when he was in my class, and his first stage opportunity. And now he's a professional opera singer all over the world, and he's recently been, he's now back in the States, but he's been in Berlin for years now, and just quite an accomplished musician, so it's great.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, anyone else? No? Okay. Well, congratulations. Thank you very much. So the staff member of the year is next. So Superintendent Greeter.
We'll have Lisa Schipper come up. So I'm just so happy, another wonderful Farmington person, and I just have such appreciation and pride in introducing Lisa Schipper to all of you. Some of you know her well as the administrative assistant at West District School. Lisa is an expert staff member. Many of our office staff go to Lisa to learn from her. She's a real mentor for so many. She's a highly caring individual. She goes above and beyond every day. She loves Farmington. She loves West District. And she takes a forward-thinking and very proactive approach and commitment to supporting the effective and efficient operation of the school. Many years ago, we shifted to a breakthrough coach model. It's a time management model to really maximize principals getting into classrooms. And Lisa just embraced that new model and, again, is an expert, someone that often others go to talk to learn from. She is not only an exemplary administrative assistant, but also volunteers in the school during her lunch as a tutor. And she also supports students in club activities. She understands the importance of creating a supportive and caring culture of excellence within a school community while ensuring students' unique interests and talents are celebrated. Her contributions are numerous, and she is someone who is deeply cared for by all members of her school community because she cares for everyone so much. I could not be more thrilled to celebrate such an incredibly dedicated and amazing staff member. She is someone we all call upon when issues arise and someone who is so proud, again, to be a part of the Farmington School District. So congratulations to Lisa. I'm just thrilled.
Thank you, Kathy. I'd like to say thank you to my biggest cheerleader who's here today, Carolyn Fink, for her excellent leadership and dedication to our faculty, our staff, and most importantly, our students. I've been blessed to have some excellent administrators in my time at West District. And I'm very grateful for this honor. I'm very grateful. And I'd like to just say thank you to you, the Board of Ed, as volunteers. I know the work that you do and the late nights that you commit to, and all of that supports our students as well. It's the behind-the-scenes stuff that the kids don't necessarily know about, but you folks are a big part of what makes Farmington, Farmington. So, thank you.
So, Lisa,
About to get up. I have a tiger right here.
I think it's, Lisa knows, I think every student's name that has gone to West District in the past 23 years.
I try.
If you go into West District with any student that's gone through West District since Lisa's been there, she knows every student's name that walks through the door. It's so, I just thought like my kids she knew because they were so wonderful. But then I started realizing she just knows all the students. And that's what makes I think all of our schools great, that especially the K-4 schools, that they're really neighborhood schools and that you get a sense of community when you're in them. And it's because of people like Lisa that you really feel like you're a family when you're in the school. And when you go back there, you're home, right? You're in a community, you're in your home. And you really just make all of the kids and parents or whoever's taking care of those kids feel like they're very special, and that it's because it's you that you remember them, but you make everyone feel that way. And that's really, really special. It makes Farmington what it is, because it's not like that everywhere. So we are very lucky to have you and people like you here. So I just want to say thank you. And this is well-deserved.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Couldn't have said better than you, Liz.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Congratulations.
Okay. We're going to take a brief pause for to be able to congratulate the recipients and cupcakes, our usual pause item.
Yes.
So we'll be back after our celebration. Thank you. Okay, we're back. So the next item on the agenda is agenda item number 4, approval of minutes. I need a motion to approve the July 24th, 2023 Board of Ed special meeting minutes as, what? Oh, it is?
I know, it does say it for that, but.
It's flip-flopped.
The paper version is different.
Yeah. I need a motion to approve the July 24th, 2023 Board of Ed special meeting minutes as presented.
Motion? Second.
Does anyone have any comments, questions, concerns about the minutes from the 2023 Board of Ed special meeting? No, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
Oh my, okay, hold on. So Sarah, Bill, Andrea abstained? Okay. All right, motion carries, thank you. All right, next is inviting and receiving public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? No? Okay. Then I won't have Andrea read the public comment policy. If there's no one here for public comment? Going once? Going twice? Gone, okay. All right. Item number 6 on the agenda is consideration of superintendent's report. So, Superintendent Greeter, we opened school. How did that go?
It's been an exciting few weeks. I wanted to provide some pictures of our first day of school and, of course, our beautiful new building that is being built here up on the hill, our new FHS building, which is coming along beautifully. But we had smooth openings throughout all of our schools. And I'm really excited about some of the items that are in the report. So I just invite the board and community to read through it. But I wanted to summarize some of the aspects of our school opening report. So on Monday, August 28th, 2023, Farmington welcomed back over 4,000 students. We were thrilled to learn that we are number 5 in Connecticut on the U.S. News and World Report's rankings this year for FHS, and we're in the top 300 high schools in the nation, so we wanted to congratulate Farmington High School, our faculty, staff, administrators, and students' families. Really exciting to be, we're always in the top 10 or so, but to be at number 5 is really exciting for us. Our theme for convocation this year was Building Thinking Classrooms, High Expectations for All Learners, and our keynote speaker, Peter Liljadel, is really a sought-after professor, educator, and author of the book Building Thinking Classrooms. We've all been reading that book. As you know, in Farmington, we pick different texts to read and spend a lot of time on those. Leaders of Their Own Learning is another example of a book that we read, and it helped us to really look at mastery-based learning more and our assessment practices. And this Building Thinking Classrooms has 14 strategies within that book, and although it's related to mathematics, it's really across all subject areas. So our keynote speaker provided a really nice foundation for those 14 strategies. We already see those practices across our district, and we're only in the very beginning of the school year. So really had made a huge impact on the school district K-12 and across all subject areas. So those are some highlights. I also just want to take a moment to introduce Cindy Callahan. She is my intern for the year, pursuing her 093, which is the superintendent certification, a principal in East Hartford. So you'll see Cindy throughout this year at different meetings and events, and we're just excited to have Cindy with us. And it's a great process because Cindy spends time with us, learning from us, and we also learn from her. So it's a great internship opportunity for everyone. So happy to welcome her to Farmington. So any questions about our school opening?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say that I thought it was great that convocation was in person again.
Yes.
It was really nice to see all of the people together in the auditorium. I thought, Kim, you did a great job with tying together the words, the first, the last. I thought I was going to get a little choked up about the last time in the auditorium, but no, I wasn't choked up at all. I was actually quite happy. It was, when you started saying it, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then I was, actually.
It's actually something to celebrate.
I was actually thrilled because my chair was broken, and but it was really nice to get, and then all the people that were first, like their first time in person, it was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't happened in a few years, so it was like a lot of people raised their hand, so it was interesting. But I thought it was really exciting that people got to come together and get excited about their first day. Yeah, so it was a good way to start. I think that's, yeah. So, okay. So we have item B is summer school programs report.
I think
Brian?
Brian is here to talk about our busy summer once again, a very active and productive and happy summer.
Yeah, so I'm here tonight not to highlight the Excel program. I will throw in a little bit of Excel program, but tonight, not as a director of extended care learning, but in my role as a summer learning coordinator. In that packet, just does not encompass, Excel encompasses special services, performing arts, enrichment, special high school classes. It encompasses a lot of different activities. So this summer, we had really big numbers. We had about 1,500 unique Farmington Public School students involved in one of those programs, whether it was at, we utilized 5 different locations this summer. The biggest program was at Westwoods that held summer school Excel program. So roughly for the month of July, we had about 700 students at that school. And a lot of faculty. If anyone had a chance to drive by, you probably could not get a parking space between 8 and 11:30. So we used Westwoods. High school had a very small programming. IAR held performing arts, theater camp, No Wall School. We held our preschool programs there, both Excel Camp and Special Services Summer School, and the alternative high school was also used for enrichment this summer. So really big numbers. Summer really doesn't happen. It makes my job really easy. We have a lot of great program leads in this district. Nicole Collins, Kristen Welgars, Brittany Gracia, Amanda Machad, Connie Rogala, Lori Wybrecht, Kevin Riondo. And so with those teams, they put together their own stuff. I'm kind of just make sure the logistics are great, get everyone in the same room together for planning. So just so everyone knows, the summer is like building its own, like I've said this every year, but it is. The HR department basically builds their own small company for a month of July. I mean, we bring in a lot of Farmington Public Schools employees. Also, we have to hire a lot of employees to facilitate that special services program as well. So it's HR department, Kara Bridgewater and Ann Jay, they do a lot of work to get ready for that 1 month or 4 weeks of summer school. And I can't forget Matt Ross, who's over there in the corner, who kind of gets together everything and has kind of the heartbeat of that program with the technology behind there. So thank you, Matt. Does anyone have any questions about the summer? I'd be happy to answer.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any, this may have already been answered, I just don't remember. Is there any plan to bring, like, the strings camp to the new high school when it's ready? Because of, like, there's space limitations, obviously, at Westwoods, and the strings camp, I know, is always capped out.
Yes, so I think anything's open for discussion once that building's ready to go. I think in the years past, it's been at Westwoods because the people who put that on, David Kramer, are housed out of Westwoods, and they have a great wing for that. But yeah, I think this new building opens up a lot of different opportunities for summer learning.
I just know that people have in the past tried to sign up for it, but we even run out of room at Westwoods for strings camp because everyone wants to be in strings camp.
Correct, yeah. So we're looking at numbers around that 200 range. So yeah, there is wait lists for that program. There's wait lists for almost all the programs during the summertime. Really big numbers.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Anyone else? Andrea?
Yeah, I don't have a question. I just have a comment. I've always appreciated that you give students and former students the opportunity to be counselors and to volunteer. You know, they get to give back to the community and also gain work experience.
Yeah, it's a win-win. It
Yeah.
creates a pipeline for us, and I'm actually working with the principal up here right now to try to find some time during the day so students, high school interns don't have to find time after school to come meet with us for interviews. So we're looking into finding time where we could go to the cafeteria or study halls and do those interviews so they don't take their time out of their after-school time, so. yeah.
Anyone else?
I would just say, I know, Brian, my kids were part of the program years ago, and it was well-run then, and it's just expanded tremendously, and you've done such a great job leading this huge, like you said, organization of summer school program, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, have a great night, everybody.
Great job.
I think summer 2024 is starting to be planned, correct? Next week.
Yep. All right. 6C is standards-based curriculum work, summer 2023. Veronica?
Well, now that I got my own name tag for the first
Nice.
time.
All right.
That's it right there.
Very
Only took me
nice.
11 years, so here we go.
Very nice.
Took Scott a while, but Veronica, that was quick.
Hi, welcome back, everyone. So, this is one of those reports I feel like I ask you about. We kind of hear about this many times, right? You hear about it at budget time, then when summer's about to start, and now I come back again to just tell you how it went. And I would say by all accounts, it went very well. Lots of participation in the summer. And Matt, if you would go to the next slide. Lots of participation in the summer this year, which felt different than the year before. Remember, we were coming off of COVID years, and not that every year is not exhausting, but those were very exhausting. And by the end of the year, it was really hard to get people to come do curriculum work in the summer. But there was a lot more enthusiasm. This summer, we had a great institute here at the high school for secondary teachers that over almost 60 teachers attended that institute. And so that was one that I ran, and I want to just thank Jessica Tolles, who really spearheaded that one with me. And it was an interesting topic. We continued to talk about, this isn't new in Farmington, but continued to talk about students. You can see it there in the high engagement, students as producer rather than consumers. And really what that means is, creating experiences in all of our classrooms that are, much more, engaging, real world, purpose connections, where students are, doing projects where they're informing, persuading, creating something new, inspiring or entertaining. So it has sort of a real purpose and a real audience potentially for their work. So she helped me with that. But we also leaned a little bit into what it means to do all those things in an age of artificial intelligence. So we spent a lot of time with teachers just getting people familiar with what the AI is, because this is going to have a huge influence on our schools, already does. And so teachers are able to not only learn about sort of the pros and cons of it, but do things like, how would you actually use it for planning? How would you use these technologies to come up with, to generate new ideas that you could consider, things like that. And then we ran an experiment where we put some of the assignments that we give currently into the machine, just to see how the computer would answer it. And I think people were blown away when they saw it, and maybe recognized some of the work that they were seeing that was generated by the AI. So it's certainly a whole new world that we're facing. And when it comes to, in the past, we would say, of course kids can, look things up and, sort of plagiarize. This is a whole new level, because it's not just about plagiarizing. It actually creates it or writes it for you, and very personalized to what you're looking for. So it would be fun, if you haven't done it yet, to put it in there, to play around with it yourselves, and I would encourage that of parents in the community as well. It's freely available on the internet, and it's very interesting to see how it works. But for example, gone are the days when you can think that even an essay that you're going to write, it can write it for you, and it could look very much like your handwriting. I mean, not your handwriting, but your type of writing. It can change the writing. Like if you look at it and you say, oh, that's a little sophisticated. I could never write it like that. You could just say, oh, please rewrite this in the voice of an 8th grader, and it will do that. And so those are the kinds of things that I think, as teachers, it was really good for that learning to be out there about, how then do we create, high engagement kinds of projects and work that makes it a lot harder to just use AI, or to use AI responsibly. In what ways should we be using it? Because this is technology that's out there. So anyway, so that was a good, that was a good institute. At the elementary level, we also had some curriculum writing, but not as much as other years, because we knew that this year was going to be a big year in the science of reading, and getting up to speed with some of the requirements there. So it's really hard to get excited about lots of new curriculum when we knew that it was already going to be a heavy lift this year at elementary school with that. So there were several science and social studies units that were done, but not as many maybe as other years. But we're in good shape, and you can see the fruits of a lot of these projects. You'll see then in the global, the annual global showcase packet that I'm sure you've all received. So all of these projects now become the next projects that we highlight as great examples of sort of deeper learning that our students are doing throughout their years in Farmington. And then I just want to emphasize, lastly, summer work is also a time when many teams get together in the summer to really create programming for positive school climate, self-awareness, and then social connection. So anything related to SEL and all the programming that we do that are different assemblies or crew advisories, Hawk's Nest, morning meetings, all of those kinds of things. Summer's a really good time for people to be able to concentrate on creating a nice plan for the following year for that. So often they work with principals at the buildings to create that programming in the summer. So those are really good. I always say it, but summer's just such a good opportunity. You don't have the daily pressures of getting ready for the following day while you're trying to also do this really deep thinking. So you have that space to stop and think and imagine how the next year could be, another year of exciting opportunities for students and projects that they can engage in. And so you kind of have the time and the space in the summer to get that thinking started. And then most of our projects then do run throughout the year, sort of as the year's going, to try it out where it fits, and make some revisions sort of on the go. I also want to say that another thing that you'll see in sort of curriculum work in the future as a result of some of this work is also thinking about more routines for bringing the community into our schools and for students sharing this real work. So once you're creating real work and real projects and students are doing real work, and you could think of, the bear-aware fair that many of your children went through, or recently we've been talking about the idling campaign that was like a real campaign and all of that. So those are the kinds of projects I'm thinking about. But as you do more of those, there's more opportunities for students to, have audiences of parents and community members coming in to look at the work and celebrate the work that students are doing in the schools. So, we're envisioning more of a process. When do students present their work, and at what times throughout their career do they present themselves as learners? Almost like, not really mini capstones and aspires, but a little bit of that, so that you sort of see this progression towards a capstone and aspire along the way in a more public kind of way. And that's a great way to get parents into family members, into the schools and sharing the work with students. So you'll see that as sort of an element of curriculum work that we'll be working on over time and part of student success plans, as we go forward. Two other projects I just want to highlight. One is we redid something we call a teamwork toolkit. So again, summer's a great time. This has been something on the agenda to revise for a long time. But as you know, and you hear it at this table often, especially when we talk about the support new teachers get, and they're always talking about how their teams were so influential. But I think any teacher would say that. You heard Nancy say that today about all the people that she works with and support the work, and that she's not alone in the work. And that's because we have a strong team culture. But we also have strong routines of what those teams do, spelled out in this teamwork toolkit. So it needed a refresh, so that was refreshed, and we have, and thank you to Nicole Collins, who was instrumental in pulling that together with me this summer, and I think that's one of those other times where, the summer is just a really great time to, keep working and getting more things ready so that in the school year, we can concentrate on other things, and it feels very proactive to have all of these things ready for the start of school. I also just want to highlight, I'm sure you'll be hearing about it more, but other teams that met were things like EEPD planning with Kim. She had a group to come together because the state keeps changing, I shouldn't say it like that, but the state is changing the requirements for EEPD, and so we'll need to be responsive to what those changes are. So I'm sure you'll learn more about that. But again, summer's a good time for us to have done some pre-thinking on that and some work on that. So anyway, so all the things, I didn't want to just put a reposting up here of all the projects. They're all in your packet. I want to do more sort of an analysis of telling you, sort of the themes of of what we're trying to work on. And I use those categories of the high trust, high engagement, and high expectations, because I think you're seeing that a lot in Kathy's communications. And so I thought it was good just to highlight that, it's sort of a shortcut way of saying, what we're working on all the time in all of the things that we're trying to do. So when we talk about, programming for the positive school climate and all that, that's because we're trying to create these high trust environments. We want our schools to always be engaging and have high expectations for all. So you'll hear that also in all the equity work that we do, and how we're thinking about curriculum work. So I just wanted to give you sort of a structure or framework for thinking about the big themes of what we're trying to accomplish. So a great summer, lots of participation, great thinking, and the thinking goes on, and you'll see the work again, because you'll see it in the Global Showcase, the annual Global Citizen Showcase work, and you'll see the fruits of all that labor in terms of what projects were developed.
Does anyone have any questions for Veronica? Comments? No? All right, well, thank you. It sounds like it was very productive. It's
Great, and again, just kudos to all the teachers who come out and do that, because we just have such highly talented teachers, that they're creative and they can come up with new ideas that they know will engage students. So a thank you to all the teachers who
Yeah, thank you
come in
very
in the
much to all the
summer.
teachers, because the summers are getting shorter, and it is, without them coming out in the summer, it'd be impossible obviously, for the work to be done during the school year. So it is with great appreciation that, we give them a lot of appreciation for them to do that. So thank you. Yeah, thanks. All right. Next is school facilities, summer maintenance and building repairs update.
All
Oh,
right.
you. I was like, I don't see Sam, but well, I guess you'll do. Okay.
Absolutely. You're number 2 here. So as you already heard, our schools were.
I was looking for Sam. I don't.
Our schools were primarily filled with students and campers and lots of folks all summer. So it begs the question, when did we get anything done? And I think that's a testament to our custodial and maintenance team, and Sam in particular and his team. They work incredibly hard to continue to keep our buildings well-kept and maintained, and then also get projects done. So, they're setting up and they're cleaning and maintaining as they do during the course of the school year, and then finding every spare minute in between. A school, you look at a school like Westwoods, right, that's full of kids almost all summer, and then they have several short weeks to get the school turned around. So I just want to recognize that team, for all the work they do. Regular work, there's a report in your packet as well, but the regular work, the deep cleaning, the tile floors or the carpets and the shampooing and extracting and all those, regular projects, scrubbing furniture, painting walls, routine repairs and preventative maintenance, and work on the outside grounds. All those things are happening. And then I just wanted to highlight a few projects, and we'll culminate with the big project that you all see every time you come up to the campus here. We'll talk about that a little bit too, but these are just a few of the many projects that took place over the summer. So this is an example of a project that's near completion, but not quite there yet. Noah Wallace staff room, you can see the cracked tiles there. So we had damaged walls. They put the wainscoting on there. They also added a mini split air conditioner within the space as well. The only thing left is those the tile floor is also going to be replaced, likely at one of our upcoming breaks. So near completion there. Slide 2, you can see some stairwell treads there at Westwoods that required maintenance and replacement, and you can see the removal and replacement there. If we move to the third one, this was a kitchen ceiling, so you get the before and after here in each of your slides. During this project, when they removed the ceiling, they also noticed some issues with the secondary ceiling, so we were able to remove that, insulate the piping above. And so when these projects, sometimes when you start digging, you find some more things as well along the way, but you can see a really nice outcome there for Union School and their kitchen ceiling. East Farms, in our next slide, has also gone through a major phased project of replacing ceilings. In addition, window replacement has been phased and completed over there, so it was a really busy summer of work at East Farms. You can see the vaulted ceilings on the left are gone, and in replacement, as well as the pendant lights, and in replacement we have the LED light panels, and then we have the remainder of our lower floor classes in the next phase of this, but East Farms, when we're all done, we'll have all new ceiling and lighting along with windows there. So, and then finally, you saw half of this project last year, and we're pleased to say that the IAR auditorium with the reupholstering of seats and the painting within the auditorium has been completed. So, a much needed improvement there that has come to completion, and I'm pleased to say that one is complete. And then finally, a project that's not quite complete yet, but well on its way, and I'm eager to have the board join for a walkthrough and get a chance to visit the space. Matt and I were talking earlier. Matt spends a lot of time over there. Sam has, really spent a ton of time. We're there every Tuesday morning along with our partners from from the town and Richard and all of our professional partners. But every time you step foot in the space, it's different than the last time we were there. And this is over a matter of days. And then, so if you take a couple weeks off and you walk back through, you're just going to be amazed by the progress that's being made in there. And so our committee is pleased that this remains on time and on budget. And so those are two really positives. You'll probably notice even greater detail in the brick outside there. You'll see windows are in at this point. When we get to the second and third floor, you're going to notice sheetrock is up and really coming together. So you can see an exterior view. That is our auditorium, which again will look different when you get a chance to walk through there already. That's in the middle, and then that right is just kind of a picture of the main street there, the main walkway, and we're really pleased with the progress. And next year at this time, we hope to be in a different space doing this welcome back meeting and kickoff for the board, and so we're looking forward to that. Are there any questions on any of the facilities projects?
Anyone? No?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, E is professional staffing report.
And that's me. So probably the most important thing we do over the summer is make sure we have a teacher for every classroom in the school district when our students return. So this report shows you that we welcomed 46 new faculty members at our new teacher orientation days in August 21st and 22nd. And I must say, we have, I've been here a long time with new cohorts of teachers, and this cohort seemed very special. It's a mix of teachers, a range of experience, from brand new to people with tremendous expertise and experience. So they were responsive and eager to learn and really good about working with each other. So many of us kind of commented on what a good job we've done this year with hiring, we believe. So I just wanted to point out, too, that we've really taken kind of the long view with our recruitment efforts. We've stepped outside of the borders of Connecticut to try to reach out to schools beyond UConn and CCSU and Eastern and some of our traditional partners who we value very much. But we've tried to kind of look far and wide to get the best teachers we can get and to really expand the diversity of the faculty we hire. And although I can't say, we recruited and hired 20 new teachers from outside of Connecticut, I can say that slowly we're building a relationship, and we're hearing from universities who are giving us good advice about how we might attract teachers here. And one of those strategies is really to begin recruiting students who are more like in their sophomore and junior years, not just graduating in the summer. And I think we've talked about the possibility of bringing younger teachers here for a summer internship in the many programs that Brian has going on. It's a great way to help them see what an amazing community this is, what kind of support they'd receive. So we're just going to keep working on that and nurturing those connections. I also I have to acknowledge Kara Bridgewater in our HR office, who manages thousands of files. We have great applicant pools for our positions, and she manages files, feeds them to principals, sets up interview pools, and she just does a great job. And in addition to that, in January every year, she spearheaded an open house idea. So our principals, myself, Veronica, we pop in and out of these sessions over the course of a week, and we just open it up to potential educators interested in teaching here, so they can learn about who we are and have kind of Zoom face-to-face conversations. So her coordination efforts are really appreciated. Our New teacher orientation sessions this year included, as they always do, words of wisdom, if you will, from a teacher who was in their seat the year prior. So this year we had a West District teacher, Lexi Liberno, give, her 10 best pieces of advice. And we had Joel Nick, our teacher of the year, just astonishingly, so welcoming of our new faculty. And Kathy always does a brilliant job of talking about the district's mission and vision and goals and really setting the tone for the kind of organization that we are. I think I always hear when I go and visit people, I came from another district. I never met the superintendent. I can't believe that I've seen Kathy in my school 3 or 4 times, and now here you are coming to see me in my classroom. So we are a relationship-driven organization, and I think teachers recognize that early on in their tenure here. We also had Natalie Simpson, our equity coordinator, speak with the group, and at the end of day 1, we did kind of a reflective circle, and everyone talked about something they're taking away with them, and it was clear that Natalie's words really, got to the heart of what we were all about, and they quoted lots of things she talked about, so it was great having her. Anyway, so you also have information in this report about the summer professional development that happened, and Veronica talked about most of what I would have said. Certainly, curriculum development and PD go hand in hand. It's a learning opportunity when you're going to come together and think about curriculum and think about advisory programming. So, I think our teachers see it that way, and they really look forward to working with Veronica and, hearing the latest leading edge work out there, and it's a great opportunity. And then when we came back to school, we had 3 full days and 2 early release days of professional development, and I know in your weekend updates, you receive a summary of the topics that we're working on, echoes of the things Kathy talked about with building thinking classrooms. So it's all very connected and connected to our school development plans, and it really has felt like a great start to the school year.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Kim? No? Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have deeper learning updates.
So we've renamed our Engaged Learning Updates to Deeper Learning Updates, and these are always really exciting opportunities our students have already experienced in the first weeks of school that reflect deeper learning, profound learning experiences that Veronica shared with you, a little bit of what that's like for our students, doing the real work and having a real audience, and students being able to have voice, agency, and choice in their learning experiences. We're very excited to have been selected also to be part of a very select group of school districts that are working on deeper learning. So Jalmeda, who leads that, was part of our DLC retreat this summer, and we will be a part of that group this year. We're excited, again, to share what we're doing, but also learn from others. And that is something new for us, something that we've looked at many, many times, and just very excited to be a part of that. We're always seeking out continuous improvement in our school district, so finding groups that have similar work to our work is sometimes hard, and we've really found that group. So we're happy about that. So just always encourage both the board and our community to read through these deeper learning updates and see all of the great learning experiences happening within the first month of school.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is unfinished business. So first is budget update, budget impact. Dr. Hurwitz?
All right, I'm back. So I just wanted to share a few different things. We talked about this earlier with Andrea and our CAF ad hoc committee, but but just wanted to give you a sense of where we are, some things to pay attention to as we enter the new school year. As many of you have seen, Farmington opted into Connecticut's stable funds. That is a new iteration of subsidized meals. As a reminder to our community, the stable funds expect to reimburse districts for participating in complete breakfast coverage daily. So all students in Farmington receive an option for a complete free breakfast every single day. In addition, stable funds have allowed families that qualify for reduced lunch to join the free lunch category. So we will be reimbursed for all of those meals as well this school year. In addition, the last few years, we know we've had some subsidies in our meal programming. That money actually comes back into the district, and there are some requirements from the National School Lunch Program that we reinvest that money. We're not-for-profit, so any of those additional funds from the reimbursements come back into the community, and we reinvest them somewhere in our lunch program. There are some specific requirements and categories that you have to reinvest in. We were pleased that, I believe I reported on this last year, that we were working in this direction. We did make a special request and write a request to get approval to air condition our 4 elementary school cafeterias. I'm pleased to report that that was accepted. We went out to bid on 3 of the 4 projects and have accepted bids on those. And so we're very eager to use those funds to begin that project. I expect those projects to commence during the school year in at least 2 of the buildings. East Farms and Union have a bit more flexibility in the project and how they might unfold, a bit more ease. And so we are seeking to have those bid recipients begin work after students depart at the end of the school day and work into the late afternoon and evening on those projects. NOAA, we're continuing to discuss the options. And then West District also has a bit more complexity because the cafeteria and the gym are so closely aligned there. But we have earmarked funding for all 4 of those schools for the cafeteria to create an additional cooling space. And then, of course, the rationale for CAF improvement, and improves the environment. It also puts less strain on our cooling equipment, our refrigeration and freezing equipment in there that requires a lot of maintenance when those work extra hard in extreme heat. So we're really pleased about that. In addition, we will have several other investments in terms of replacement and improvement of equipment, and also some facelifting and also reinvestment in the products that we're offering for students. And so excited about that, and again, have resubmitted to the state our plan to correct that, and in doing so, we think really improving our infrastructure here in Farmington as well. So that is CAF funds. And then in addition, the negotiations team and myself are getting to spend lots of time with each other. We did some contracts last year. We'll be reviewing later in the agenda the FASA contract. That's our administrative group, so we'll review that. I want to thank Christine, Andrea, Patty, and Liz for their work on that throughout the summer and heading into the year. And we're pleased to present that to you. And then additionally, our FPS EU contract is up for renegotiation. So be ready for your winter calendars, late winter, early spring calendars to fill up for that negotiation. And then finally, our M&J bus contract is also up for negotiation in June of 2024. So I expect some more substantive conversation around that contract in the months ahead and the direction we want to move in there as well. So, and then of course, lastly, we'll continue to apprise you monthly of our progress. You know, we had a lower allocation with the 2% increase, and so we'll continue to be mindful of our spending and watching that as we progress through the year. As you know, every year takes a different trend, and with that, we need to be able to respond accordingly to make sure our students, teachers have what they need. Are there any questions on that?
Anyone?
Great update.
Okay, thank you.
I can jump right into the next one too, if you'd like.
Okay, next, ESSER 3 overview.
So we are heading into, right now, our last year of the ARP ESSER, or the COVID relief grants. There have been, we're all set with we've spent down our previous COVID grants. However, I do want to call your attention to, we've seen a trend of extending those deadlines out. It was supposed to end at the end of September, and they keep moving the deadline out. Again, we're all set with our previous grants, and expect we'll continue in that pattern with our final ESSER grant. I don't think we'll be in a position where we're hoping that they extend it, but if it continues to follow a trend, it's always plausible. But right now, the ending deadline for this grant is September of 2024. So next year at this time, we want to be landing that plane. And we've done some work to move items off of grant, in particular staffing. We haven't quite achieved that. As we had to navigate the budget last year, we've kept some positions on that. Right now, we have almost $350,000 of our ESSER grant encumbered, and so we have a little less than $400,000 to plan. I expect some things are already in the works for that. In your board packet, you can see our plan from the inception of that. If things shift, we may consider a rewrite, but at this time, I see us continuing to move in the pathway of being in good shape for that. The Connecticut recently announced air conditioning grants again. I expect that we'll go out for that, and expect that we'll use some ESSER money to set that up. So to get all of our plans in place so that we're ready to have a competitive package to go back out again, and we'll talk to the board about that in the next couple of months as it goes forward. But looking forward to utilizing those funds this year to help support and supplement our work in Farmington. Are there any questions on ESSER?
Anything? No? Okay. All right, thank you on that. The next item on the agenda is agenda number 8A, which is, 8 is new business. A is approval of the Farmington High School Technology Equipment Bid Package and Central Office Technology Equipment Bid Package. Do we want to do the thing? Do we want to talk about it first? Do we want to do something and then read the motion, or what do we?
Matt and Richard will get right to it.
All right, thank you.
When it comes to our technology equipment bid package, this is both for, it's FHS, but also central office. And as part of the process, we need the board's approval, and then on Wednesday, it'll be the Farmington High School Building Committee that will also take action on the bid packages.
So this is part of the next phase in the project process. The FF&E, we've split technology out of furniture, fixtures, and equipment just to make sure, one, that we can source the equipment in time, and we're also taking a phased approach in the installation and delivery of the equipment itself. So I've got a couple of slides and some explanations to kind of walk you through. You were provided the full bid package, which is quite lengthy. And thank you, Richard, because you put most of that together. So the equipment itself in the bid package has been broken down into several categories. I've provided the description of those categories so you can decrypt the coding, and I'm going to walk through some examples of what typically would fall within each of those categories. We have put together, towards one of the last slides, as part of the process with the state, we do have to put together a cost estimate. All of the equipment that we have put into this package, we have used retail pricing in terms of our cost estimate. So that would be the high end. So when you see the dollar figures at the end, or the by category dollar figures, again, realize that that's retail pricing directly from vendors. It does not take into account any education pricing or large scale bid pricing at that point. So we'll jump right in. First question that folks usually ask is, okay, great, we're buying new equipment, but what about the stuff that's already in the high school and what are we doing with it? So I have provided some examples of equipment that we currently have here in this current facility and plans for where it's going. We've been very judicious along the way and over the past few years in terms of any planned upgrades, whether it was something that was going to come over into the new high school or if it was something that we would then move to one of our other buildings. Some of the more recent technology or display technology that we have installed in this building will end up moved down to Westwoods and Irving Robbins, which is already part of the plan. We've been phasing in upgrades. A couple of years ago, we did the K4s, replaced all the projectors with interactive flat panels. This summer, we did another level within Westwoods. We still have 5th grade to complete, and Irving Robbins would be the next in that list. So things like the interactive flat panel in 805, that will be moved to Irving Robbins or Westwoods, not over to the new building. Again, it's been 2 years, almost 3 years that's been there. So it still has useful life, but we want to have pretty standardized equipment in the new building. Some of the AV equipment that we've purchased in the last couple of years, though, the audio-visual devices, things within the edge, those will move over into the new facility with us. In addition, we just put 25 brand-new iMacs, not this past summer, last summer, into the art lab, into the photo lab. Those will move over to the new high school as well. So in the audiovisual infotech, you can think of this as our classroom technology. And so there's a picture of the interactive flat panel in 805. This is just to give you a visual representation of something that would be in the new high school classroom. The teaching wall will have an interactive flat panel. It'll be flanked by whiteboards. There's also, we're going with headless is the technical term, but we are not installing classroom desktop computers in most of the classrooms in the new high school. We've chosen to go, all of our teachers have been issued Chromebook devices. We've chosen for flexibility and for ease of decentralizing the room to go with a shelf that folds down. Teachers can place a device on that shelf and connect directly to the board. All of the boards that we're speccing have a built-in browser and tools. You can actually operate your entire teaching classroom time without the need of an attached computer. There is a category for computer equipment. This is predominantly for labs. There's an application lab and an engineering lab that will be purchasing new machines for those spaces, and that is because the machines that we're currently using here in the high school they're approaching the 5 to 6 year mark, so they've hit their end of life. AV equipment audio. So you'll notice in the AV equipment side, we've divided it into audio and video, and that is primarily based on where that equipment gets sourced from and the companies that have that expertise. Audio equipment would be mixers, MIDIs, speakers, different things that would be used in spaces like the auditorium, the Edge Lab, some of it in the Black Box Theater. Some of the major components and the infrastructure has already been spec'd as part of the construction package. These are items that are more specialized to the programming that's going to be occurring in those spaces. Before we get to video, I tried to keep things in the order they're in the bid package. AV furniture. So we have actually specified furniture. These are consoles specific to the Edge Lab, the auditorium, a control room. They're not in the typical furniture package because they're more specialized. They contain racking equipment to house the equipment in those spaces. AV equipment video, again, more video specific, so pre-production, post-production, the equipment that's used to help produce the 905 News and other district-related videos. AV instruments. So there are a small number of instruments that are used for production capabilities. So these are not instruments that are being used in the orchestra room, in the band room, as part of the teaching process. It's more production-related stuff. Although we do have students that come down on their off periods, and they use this equipment to produce their own music, their own material. Lighting equipment, again, this is predominantly the edge space. Lighting equipment was not part of the construction package in the edge, so we have a section that contains lighting equipment specifically for the edge. And then the last category is pertaining to central office, and again, that's AVIT. It is the interactive display boards that we'll be mounting in the 2 conference rooms within central office, similar to those that we'll be using in the classroom. Here's the breakdown, the cost estimates by category, and the bottom line, we're looking at about $1.3 million. Again, that's retail estimates at this point, and based on what the building committee has budgeted, we're well within the budgetary allotment. Questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Matt? I have a question. How is the availability of these items? Because we know there are some availability problems, especially with electronics, microchips, things like that. How are we doing?
Things are in better shape, but again, we're getting out in front of this early to ensure that we could get the equipment in time. The majority of the display board manufacturers are able to deliver within a 6 to 8 week timeframe.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to the state, we're meeting with the state for the first review on October 25th, and with hopes of approval and putting it out there to bid shortly thereafter. The first phase of the delivery and installation is due for the first week of May, but
Right.
yeah.
Let me add to that as well. So my name is Richard Sipek. I'm one of the architects with TSKP Studio, a senior principal with the firm, and I've been directing staff on this project and working with Matt in compiling these bid specs so that they agree with the state's formats. They are used to seeing material in a certain format. They ask certain questions. I'm very familiar with the questions that they ask. So I've been working closely with Matt and making sure that the bid specs that we prepare look familiar to the state reviewers. The specs do call for the delivery of material to the school in phases because the building is being delivered in phases. Now, if I could find the right page here, I can tell you what those dates are. So, first, let me show you this diagram, which is in the specs. It identifies the different areas of the building, area A, B, C, D, E. It's counterclockwise because the building is being built in that fashion counterclockwise. So in consultation with Matt, we decided to insert in the bid specs delivery dates by the vendors. So the first space that they're going to deliver is area A, and so on. And then the last phase is area F, which is central office, which has its own project number, it has its own specs that the state will review in order to determine eligibility for reimbursement. Some of it is for the high school, some of it is for central office. So area A is expected to be delivered by May 23rd. And it'll be here before you know it. And the next phase is only a day later, May 24th. They just follow one after another. And the last phase for the high school is July 30th next year. And then we move to central office, and that delivery date is July of 2025.
Yeah. So the three primary classroom wings the first 3 phases. And we've set this out with goals of having all of our classrooms fully outfitted by late July, early August. Area E is the auditorium. There are a couple of classrooms in that area, but nothing to the extent of what we've got in the 3 towers.
Okay. And you think that nothing will be delayed a year, that long?
Not at this point.
Not-
Not
okay.
based on where things are today and
Okay.
and what we're
No,
seeing
that's
for
good.
deliveries, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so we need a motion. I need a motion that the Board of Education hereby certifies that these final plans and the project manuals as prepared for bidding and dated September 14th, 2023, and the provisional cost estimate completed in accordance with Level 3 of ASTM International Standard E1557, Standard Classification of Building Elements and Related Site Work. Uniformat 2 for the following projects. State project number 052-0076N, Farmington High School Technology Equipment Bid Package, Phase 4 of 4, and state project number 052-0077BOE, FPS Central Office Technology Equipment Bid Package, Phase 3 of 3, and dated September 14th, 2023, have been reviewed and approved for this project on September 18th, 2023.
Motion?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to repeat this on Wednesday.
I'll just take the opportunity to thank Matt for all of his hard work, working with Richard. This, as you can see, is a great deal of work over many, many months. Matt is always thinking about the future, how to be as efficient as we can be, yet be very progressive in the work that we do with students when it comes to technology, audiovisual. So we're very fortunate both to have Matt and Richard working together in this area, and we're so, so excited about our project.
Can I just echo that a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I've worked with a lot of districts, a lot of technology directors in districts. Matt knows a lot of stuff. It's a pleasure working through it.
Thank you.
Yes, every district should have a Matt, but not our Matt. We're keeping ours. All right, so moving on to agenda item number 8, new business B, 2023 policy update.
So Scott, yeah.
Sure, just one for today. I expect many more as the legislature was busy, and we'll have updates. This policy update coincides with refreshing from the Shipman-Goodwin model policies. In addition, I want to call out that to align with the model policy, we would change the title to purchasing. That will help us stay up to date as it gets updated. The other additional shift is that we added thresholds for when to direct purchase, when to get competitive quotes, when to do competitive bidding awarded by the superintendent, and then finally when the board would award competitive bidding through the RFP process as well. Otherwise, it stayed pretty similar, but those are the shifts.
And Scott alluded to this, but we will have a policy meeting coming up once we have the model policies for this legislative session, and then that will come to the board for a first reading in October and a second reading in November. This particular policy, first reading in September, second reading in October.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the 2023 policy updates and new policies listed below, and to move the policies forward for a second reading.
Motion? Second?
Any questions, comments? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 8C, is negotiations with respect to collective bargaining of FAFSA for the contract for years 2024, 25, 25, 26, and 26, 27, which is going to be an executive session. So we're going to go into executive session, so I need a motion to move to executive session at 8:41 PM for the purposes of the following: negotiations with respective collective bargaining of FAFSA contract for the years 24, 25, 2025, 26, and 2026, 27. Those that attend the executive session are going to be limited to members of the Board of Education, superintendent of schools, and the assistant superintendents.
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All right, motion. All right, we're back. I need a motion to return to public session at 9:18 PM.
Motion? Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, we're back in public session at 9:18. I need a motion to approve the Farmington School Administrators Association contract from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027 to include the following. The agreement includes a 2.5% increase in 2024-25, a 2.75% increase in 25-26, and a 3% increase in 26-27. Insurance changes are as follows: 24-25, a premium cost share of 25.5%, 25-26, a premium cost share of 25.5%, and 2026-2027 premium cost share of 25.5%. Additional funding to annuities totaling $800 total over a 3-year period.
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Objections? Abstentions? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Item number 10 on the agenda is consideration of Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations report. A is the May and June 2023 financial statement report. Scott.
All right, thank you. So we'll do this, and then we'll move into a next item, preparing what financial statements will look like for this year, which will start in our October meeting. So we stayed consistent with our story throughout the year in terms of where we saw savings and where we saw overages in spending. And so if you had a chance to look at the financials ahead of time, you would see that during the course of the year, we had savings in teachers, which I think we talked about just about every month, kind of from December onward, as we were noticing that trend due to staffing issues and teacher leaves. We shifted instructional aides quite a bit to a grant funding, and so we realized some significant savings there. And then we saw savings in custodians as well. On the other side, our nurses line, our substitutes due to those teachers on leave, our consultation services, legal services, building repairs, transportation, and tuition costs also ran the other way. We were able to supplement with, as we do every year, with federal grant funding, including ESSER, which we talked about earlier, along with our Title I, IDEA, and open choice funds. Finally, I would say, in observing our insurance trends, we seem to have had, we've had these runs where we have 3 or 4 consecutive years that are really, really good, and then we are certainly headed in a more difficult direction with our insurance. I think our reserve remains healthy, and we've been able to continue to contribute to that. You may recall we did cut out of that from last year's budget coming into this one, but I think that's not a surprise as well, with people being more attentive to their healthcare needs following the pandemic, along with some significant cost escalation. All that said, as you look at our balance sheet, we ended the year with a balance of $3,367 to close out last year. So, and appreciate all your support along the way. Are there any questions about last year's financials?
Good job.
Any questions? No, very good.
We don't have to pay any money to the town council.
Out of our
Out of our own pocket.
pockets individually, that's nice.
That's right.
All right, nope, that's good. I need a motion to approve the May, June 2023 financial statement report as presented.
Motion?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions, objections? All right, motion carries. All right, B is the end of year financial report for 2023.
And I apologize, I did.
I know.
You did them both.
So I guess we'll do I need a motion to approve the end of year fiscal financial statement as presented.
Motion?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that motion carries. All right, and now we need the review of the new financials format for 2023-24.
And we will have the July, August, and likely September. We're waiting on insurance from August to come in. And we figured we would touch base on this first and get any feedback you might have as well. I did have a chance to work on this a bit. And so we would ask to consider for the year ahead a new format to our financial reporting. There's not a great deviation, but for a long time, we've been reporting the financials in a similar format. This is actually the July financials, which we'll go over next month. But what we've sought to do here is, in your packet, you have a little cheat sheet, but every year when we do the budget, we review the budget book verbatim for each object and then line that follows. And so this changed, I don't remember how long, it was before my time, but this changed in terms of how we do the budget process. What didn't change at the same time was how the financials are reported. And so there was some back-end work to try to make it match to what used to be reported. And so, we just hope that this will make it easier for the board when we're looking at budget season in terms of a real apples-to-apples comparison of how the year is trending. And so I did provide for everyone in your packet, and the public can see this as well. It's just a short little guidebook or definition of what each line means. But we'd like to carry into this year matching our budget book that we use to plan with what the current balance is and our obligations. So very, very similar in some ways, but just a little bit more finite grain size at looking at how this is organized.
Will you do the same thing with the grants and things like that?
That's correct, yes. Yep.
Scott, just a good question on the summer teachers under services versus salaries. Is it because it's,
That is one that we may propose to change and move it, but it is logged in our, you're right, there are a few that.
that one to me stands out. It would be up in the salary line.
Correct. It's still organized when we present our budget. It's still presented as a service. And so we're keeping it there, but it does have a 100 tag with it. So at some point, as we continue to look at refining this, we may look to move it up. But right now, summer teachers also covers more than just teachers. And so that's likely why it sits where it sits. But that's a good noticing. There'll be a few spots where there's still a mesh there, but it will follow again as we go page by page in the budget book. It'll follow.
And
It'll follow
using that
format.
example, I would assume if you were to change it, let's say to summer staff, that you would change it across the board. So then it would get changed on the budget side and on the reporting side, so that it would stay consistent.
That's correct.
For future boards.
So we do have some questions for our auditors as they're doing the work this year around how we title things and where it goes. Again, we're matching years of work here and want to be thoughtful and deliberate around these, but we feel like this is a good way to communicate where we are and what we're doing.
Cleaner.
It's also very clear to the
Yeah,
public
very clear.
in a way that, when they look at it, this is really good. This is really good.
Much more efficient way of producing the monthly financials because there was a lot of moving things.
Manual.
Just so that it was
Administrative.
reflecting that old financial report. So this will be much easier for the office as well.
Sure.
Administration.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, no more questions on that? Great. All right, so welcome back, everyone. I already said that. And I hope everyone can make it on Wednesday. Is it at 7:30 a.m.? Yeah, 7:30 for the tour of the new high school. I'm very excited. I didn't think I could make it, but I can, so I can't wait to see it. And I did want to, this has nothing to do with the Board of Ed other than it has to do with Sarah. I wanted to congratulate her for something that I was able to go to. She did get an award. Was it last week or this week? I don't even remember what day it was, but it was within the last few days. For her other role, as one of her other roles as an attorney, that she does pro bono work as an attorney for children. So it was just, she did a wonderful job in this very difficult case, and one of the organizations she's involved with gave her an award, and it was just phenomenal to hear things about Sarah in her outside role, and she's a tremendous advocate for children and in need, and it was really just a pleasure to be there to see her get this award, and I was just happy to be there. So yes, I was just, I just wanted to shout her out a little bit. So she was just working with DCF and a bunch of other organizations in the state, and so I wanted to say that about Sarah. So I hope that everybody had a great summer, and we can continue to make some good progress for the next few months while I'm here. So thank you very much. I think that's all I had. We have to go on to committee reports, though. So next we have, well, Christine, I guess we had your report.
Reported by way of a vote, so.
I don't know if you have anything else.
Not at this time. There's
Okay.
some stuff coming up, but nothing to report at this time.
All right. Policy, Bill?
Nothing to report at this point. I anticipate a meeting in October.
Okay. Curriculum, Andrea?
Nothing to report. Our first meeting is October 16th.
Communications, Beth?
So the summer newsletter went out in the summer, early August, I believe. Yes. The whole community, and we'll meet later in the year to plan for the next one.
Okay. Craig? I don't have any report. Extended learning, Sylvie?
Yep, we met August 22nd. We talked about fostering relationships and engagement with local employees and community partners. And we also are talking about the upcoming Career Day at FHS, and our next meeting is October 17th, so more to come with it.
Thank you. Superintendent interscholastic, Bill?
I don't expect a meeting until the end of the fall season, so probably December.
All right. Farmington Public School Foundation, Beth?
Yeah, so lots going on with the foundation. The foundation has awarded the funds to the district for the new teacher initiated grants for the school year, the new school year. The total this year was over $20,000. They'll have their formal check presentation at the next board meeting. There are 4 programs in that: the Chinese Language, Culture, and Music Club at Union School, a CPR First Aid Certification Program at the high school, a Forest Learning Stations program at West District, and a program that makes school tours more accessible for multilingual families, and that's district-wide. And then the foundation just met last week. Unfortunately, they're looking to bring back the Eagle Open golf tournament, and they were hoping for the fall, but they're going to postpone that to the May. They needed some more planning time and getting golfers and sponsorships, but they're still looking to do that. Many of us remember the Eagle Open, and it was, and it has
It was a great
gone away
day.
for a few years.
It was a great day.
Yeah, it has gone away for a few years, so they're looking to bring that back and have it benefit the foundation. I have no doubts that with this new group and so many new board members that it won't happen, but They're shooting for May 3rd now, so put that in your calendar if you want to golf or volunteer. And then the Trivia Bee is set for February 2nd, so another date for your calendars. And the foundation is going to meet again either October 16th or the 24th. They haven't finalized that yet.
Okay, thank you. Health and Wellness, Christine?
I believe there's a meeting coming up for the fall, but I don't have a date off the top of my head, so.
Okay. Cafeteria, Andrea?
We met tonight before our board meeting. Scott presented on the stable funds and the infrastructure investments within our elementary schools that we heard about. Carrie from Chartwells gave us her quarterly business review. She talked about some awards that staff receive through their Cheers program. They offer a culinary mastery class for staff in the food service that don't have a lot of culinary training. In the schools this month, they're promoting Hispanic Heritage Month and showcasing different foods that are from a Hispanic heritage. And then they're also doing pop-up tastings to promote mood boosts, how food influences your mood and how your body feels. And one of the newer things they have here at the high school is they're offering game day packages for sports teams on the go. And they're opening the cafeteria from 2:30 to 2:45 so that people doing after-school athletics can grab something on the go. And then this year is also their administrative review year. I guess the USDA comes in to see how they're doing with running the National School Lunch Program. And then they're also working with the elementary school principals on providing breakfast in the school, things that are appealing to the younger kids.
Thank you. All right, the green efforts, Patty isn't here. She's bringing her eldest to college. The Racial Equality Task Force, Nadine? No?
No update.
Okay.
I don't know when the next meeting's scheduled yet.
All right. CCEI, Sarah?
No update. We haven't had a meeting yet this year.
Okay. Building Committee?
So the construction site's been active all summer, as we've been hearing. It's 48% complete. We have a number tied to that now. And get to see it Wednesday morning, so that'll be exciting. The project continues to be on time and on budget. Moving in could begin, Scott gave an update, and Matt too, but very exciting for start of school year next year. And the building committee meets again this Wednesday, 5 p.m. in the library here.
Okay, thank you. Anything from Noah Wallace one? No.
No, that's spring.
Yeah, I thought so. And elementary ad hoc?
We meet next Monday.
Yep. Okay, okay, thank you. That's at what time, 4? 4?
I think it's 4 o'clock.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. Okay, that's what I think.
4:30.
4:30?
Yeah.
4:30, okay. Well,
I-
see, it would have been early. Okay.
I just wanted to add, tonight's board meeting featured so many projects and a successful opening to the school year and summer programming and Matt's presentation. It just really makes me feel so proud with all that's going on and our team at central office, our DLC, our amazing faculty and staff, our families and students. It just was a lot of evidence of how special our school district is and just the amazing work that's going on, and including the work of the board. I think you heard that from many tonight, just talking about how important all of you are and the work that you do that has a direct impact on what students experience in their classrooms. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. All right, with that, we are adjourned. I'll make my own motion. Adjourned. Okay, thank you. Good night.
9:30.